My name is Karina D. Francis. I'm 28 years old, and 6 months ago, I was sitting in the emergency room at 3 in the morning. My 8-year-old daughter Amelia was curled up in a plastic chair. My 5-year-old Luna was asleep across my lap. Both of them still wearing their Christmas pajamas. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Not because someone was hurt, not because there was an accident, but because my little girl had handed me a piece of paper that morning, a note she found on the kitchen counter, written in my mother's handwriting. It said, "We're in Cancun until January 15th. Please be moved out before we get back. This is best for everyone." That was it. No explanation, no phone call, no warning, just leave. And that wasn't even the worst part of that Christmas. See, while I was trying to process why my own parents wanted me gone, my phone buzzed. A text message, meant for my husband Aaron, from a woman named Veronica. It said, "I miss you already. Can't wait for New Year's Eve. Tell her you're working." My whole life collapsed in less than 12 hours. But what happened next? That's the part nobody saw coming. Before I tell you what happened next, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story resonates with you. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. Now, let me take you back to where it all started. I grew up in a small house in southeast Portland. Nothing fancy. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom for 4 people. A backyard with a rusted swing set my dad never fixed. My sister Valerie came along when I was 6. And from the moment she was born, everything changed. I remember standing in the hospital room, looking at this tiny pink baby in my mom's arms. My dad had tears in his eyes. He kept saying, "She's perfect, absolutely perfect." I tugged on his sleeve. "Daddy, can I hold her?" He didn't even look at me. "Not now, Karina. Go sit down." That became the theme of my entire childhood. "Not now, Karina." "Maybe later, Karina. Your sister needs us more, Karina." Valerie got the dance lessons. I got hand-me-down clothes from the neighbor's daughter. Valerie got a car for her 16th birthday. I took the bus until I was 22. When I asked my mom why things were so different, she'd sigh like I was exhausting her. "You're the older one. You should understand. Valerie is sensitive. She needs more support." What she really meant was Valerie was the favorite, and I was just there. I met Aaron when I was 19. He was charming, confident, told me I was beautiful during our first conversation. Nobody had ever said that to me before. Not my parents. Not anyone. We got married when I was 21. Way too young, I know that now. But back then, I was desperate for someone to choose me, to put me first for once. For a while he did. Or at least it felt that way. Amelia came a year later. Then Luna 3 years after that. And somewhere between dirty diapers and sleepless nights, Aaron started pulling away. He worked late, missed dinners, forgot birthdays. I told myself it was just stress. He was providing for us. I should be grateful. Then his company downsized. He lost his job, and suddenly, we couldn't afford our apartment anymore. That's when my parents made their offer. "Move in with us," my mom said over the phone. "Just until you get back on your feet. The girls can share Valerie's old room." Valerie had moved to San Diego with her tech startup boyfriend 2 years earlier. My parents paid for her plane ticket. They flew out to visit her twice a year. They never once visited me when I lived 20 minutes away. But I swallowed my pride. I said yes, because what choice did I have? I was a janitor at a middle school, making $14 an hour. Aaron was barely applying for jobs, and my daughters needed a roof over their heads. So we moved in August of that year. It was supposed to be temporary, 3 months, maybe 4, but 3 months turned into 6. 6 turned into a year. Aaron still hadn't found work. He said the market was tough. He said he was networking. He said a lot of things. Meanwhile, I scrubbed toilets and mopped hallways and came home to my mother's passive-aggressive comments. "Karina, the girls are too loud." "Karina, Aaron was on the couch all day again." "Karina, when exactly are you planning to leave?" I kept my head down. Saved every penny I could. Dreamed of the day I could finally get my own place again, and then Christmas morning came, and my 8-year-old daughter found that note. Christmas morning started like any other. Luna woke up at 6, screaming about Santa. Amelia tried to act cool about it, but I saw her eyes light up when she spotted the presents under the tree. I'd worked overtime for 2 months to afford those gifts, wrapped them myself at midnight while everyone slept. Aaron was still in bed, said he had a headache, told me to handle the morning without him. My parents weren't there either. I assumed they were sleeping in, they'd been distant the whole week. Barely looked at me during dinner. Whispered to each other when they thought I wasn't listening. So it was just me and my girls. Tearing open wrapping paper on the living room floor. That's when Amelia noticed the envelope. "Mommy, what's this?" She was holding a white envelope with my name on it, my mother's handwriting, sitting right there on the kitchen counter like it was nothing. "I don't know, baby. Let me see." I opened it, read the words 3 times. My hands started trembling. "Karina, we're in Cancun until January 15th. Please have your things packed and be moved out before we return. This arrangement isn't working anymore. It's best for everyone, Mom and Dad." No phone call? No conversation? No explanation. They left in the middle of the night, while I was asleep, while my daughters were dreaming about Christmas morning, and they left a note, like I was a tenant getting evicted. Not their daughter. Amelia tugged on my sleeve. "Mommy, why are you crying?" "I'm not crying, sweetheart. I need a minute." I walked into the bathroom, locked the door, and completely fell apart. That's when my phone buzzed, a text notification. But it wasn't my phone vibrating, it was Aaron's. He'd left it on the bathroom counter the night before. The screen lit up with a message preview from someone named Veronica. "I miss you already. Can't wait for New Year's Eve. Tell her you're working." I stared at that screen for maybe 30 seconds, maybe an hour. Time didn't make sense anymore. My parents had just abandoned me on Christmas morning, and now I was finding out my husband was cheating. I picked up his phone, taped in his password, our anniversary. He never thought I'd check. There were hundreds of messages going back 8 months. Photos, plans, inside jokes, things he used to say to me when we first started dating. She called him baby, he called her my escape. His escape from me. I walked back into the living room. Amelia was showing Luna how her new doll worked. They hadn't noticed anything was wrong, and I made a decision right there. I wasn't going to fall apart. Not in front of them, not today, but I was done with all of it. I need to pause here for a second. Have you ever had someone you trusted completely turn out to be a stranger? Like the person you thought you knew was wearing a mask the whole time? Drop a comment and share your story, or just type "betrayed" if you've been there. And if you're feeling this story, please hit that like button. Now let me tell you what happened next. I answered the phone on the second ring. "Merry Christmas." Valerie's voice was bright, cheerful, like nothing was wrong. "Did you know?" My voice came out flat, cold. "Know what?" "That Mom and Dad left, that they're in Cancun, that they left me a note telling me to get out." Silence. For way too long. "Karina? I was going to tell you." My stomach dropped. "You knew?" "They called me last week. They said," she hesitated. "They said the situation was stressful, that having you and the girls there was too much. They needed a break. A break. They needed a break from their own grandchildren." Look, I know it sounds bad, but you have to understand their perspective. They're not young anymore. Having kids running around the house, Aaron not working, you always looking exhausted, and Valerie, stop. She kept going anyway. "I'm just saying, maybe this is a sign. Maybe it's time to figure things out on your own. Mom said you've been there over a year now." "That's a long time, Karina. I'm there because I can't afford rent. Because I work 50 hours a week and still can't save enough. Because my husband," I stopped myself. I wasn't ready to tell her about Aaron. Not yet. Your husband what? Nothing. Forget it. See, this is exactly what Mom was talking about. You always play the victim. You never take responsibility for anything. Maybe if you'd made better choices. I hung up. My hands were shaking again, but this time it wasn't sadness. It was anger. I walked back into the bedroom. Aaron was finally awake, scrolling on his phone like it was any other day. Hey babe, kids open their presents yet? I threw his phone at the bed. The one with Veronica's messages still on the screen. Who is she? His face went pale, then defensive, then angry. You went through my phone? Answer the question. He stood up, paced the room, ran his fingers through his hair like he always did when he was cornered. It's not what you think. 8 months of messages. Photos, plans for New Year's Eve. What exactly am I not understanding, Aaron? She's just, she's someone I met online. It's not serious. It didn't mean anything. You called her your escape. He flinched. Karina, you don't understand what it's been like. Living here, your parents treating me like garbage, you always working, the kids always needing something. I felt invisible. You felt invisible. I laughed, actually laughed, because the irony was too painful to process any other way. I scrub toilets for a living, Aaron. I come home exhausted every single day. I cook, I clean. I take care of our daughters while you sit on that couch and feel sorry for yourself. And you tell me you felt invisible? He didn't have a response for that. I want you out. What? You heard me, get your things. Go stay with Veronica. Go stay wherever you want, but you're not staying here. This isn't even your house, Karina. It's your parents' house. And they want you gone, remember? That hit exactly where he meant it to. But I didn't back down. Fine. Then I'll leave too. With my daughters. And you can figure out your own life. He stared at me. Like he didn't recognize me anymore. Good. I didn't recognize myself either. After 14 hours of complete betrayal, my parents, my sister, my husband, something inside me finally snapped into place. I was done being the one who sacrificed everything, done being the one who understood everyone else's perspective, done being invisible. I grabbed my phone and called the one person who'd never let me down. My coworker and best friend, Danielle. Danny, I need help. Can you come get me and the girls? Karina? What's wrong? It's Christmas morning. Everything is wrong, but I'm fixing it. Starting right now. Danielle picked us up within the hour. She didn't ask questions. Just helped me pack 3 suitcases and load the girls into her car. Luna was confused but excited for a sleepover. Amelia was quiet. She knew something was wrong. Kids always know. We stayed at Danielle's apartment that night. She made hot chocolate, put on a movie for the girls, let me cry in her kitchen until I had nothing left. The next morning, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Is this Karina? Aaron's wife? We need to talk, Veronica. I almost deleted it, almost blocked the number and moved on. But something made me respond. What do you want? She called me 30 seconds later. Before you hang up, please just listen. Her voice was shaky, nervous. Nothing like I expected. Why would I listen to anything you have to say? Because I didn't know. I swear to you, Karina, he told me he was divorced. He told me you left him 2 years ago. That he had partial custody of the kids but lived alone. I sat down. My legs suddenly couldn't hold me. That's not true. None of that is true. I know that now. I found your Facebook last week, saw photos of you together from Thanksgiving. You looked happy. The girls were in matching dresses. She paused. I felt sick when I realized what I'd been part of. I didn't respond. I couldn't, but that's not why I'm calling. There's something else. Something you need to know. What? Aaron's been taking money from your parents. The room tilted. What do you mean? He told me about it one night. He was drinking, said he had a side arrangement going on. Your parents were paying him $5,000 a month to keep you calm, to keep you from asking for your share of some inheritance. He said there was a property, a house that belonged to your grandmother, worth almost $400,000. I couldn't breathe. My grandmother died 3 years ago. My parents told me she left everything to charity, that there was nothing for us. He laughed about it, Karina, said he'd been collecting for over 2 years. Said your parents wanted you out now because they're selling the house, and they don't want you there when the paperwork goes through. Everything clicked. The sudden vacation, the note, the urgency for me to be gone by January 15th. My parents weren't escaping stress. They were covering their tracks. And Aaron, he wasn't just cheating on me, he was being paid to keep me quiet about an inheritance I didn't even know existed. Why are you telling me this? Veronica's voice cracked. Because I have a little sister, and if someone did this to her, I'd want someone to tell her the truth. I hung up, sat in Danielle's kitchen for a long time. Then I did something I should have done years ago. I called a lawyer. January 15th. The day my parents came back from Cancun. They didn't expect to find me waiting at grandmother's house. The one they told me didn't exist anymore. My mom's face went white when she saw me on the porch. Karina, what are you doing here? Interesting question, Mom. I could ask you the same thing, since you told me Grandma left everything to charity. My dad stepped forward. Who told you about this place? Does it matter? What matters is that I know. I know about the house. I know about the payments to Aaron. I know about all of it. Valerie was there too. Of course she was. Her face told me everything she'd known the whole time. This is family business, Karina. My mother's voice turned cold. You're not entitled to anything. We raised you, fed you, put a roof over your head when you couldn't manage your own life. You paid my husband to keep me quiet. You lied about my grandmother's will. And you kicked me out on Christmas morning with a note. Like I was nothing. You are nothing, Valerie stepped forward. You've always been the burden, the one who couldn't keep up. Mom and Dad sacrificed everything for both of us, and you just took and enough? I held up a folder. The lawyer had prepared everything. Grandma's original will left her estate equally to all grandchildren. That includes me. You forged documents to cut me out. I have proof. My lawyer has copies of everything. And unless you want this to become a legal nightmare, you're going to sign papers giving me my rightful share. My father's jaw tightened. My mother looked at Valerie. Nobody spoke. 3 weeks later, they signed. I walked away with $147,000, enough for a fresh start. I filed for divorce the same week. Aaron didn't contest anything. He was too scared of what else I might expose. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my own apartment, 2 bedrooms, small balcony. Nothing fancy, but it's mine. Amelia has her own space to do homework. Luna learned to ride a bike in the parking lot downstairs. I got promoted to lead custodian at the school. It's not glamorous, but it's honest work and they treat me well. Danielle comes over for dinner every Sunday. We laugh more than I ever did in my parents' house. I haven't spoken to my family since the signing. Valerie blocked me on everything. My parents send birthday cards to the girls, but I don't respond. Maybe one day things will be different. Maybe they won't, but for the first time in my life, I'm not waiting for their approval. I'm not invisible anymore. Looking back, I used to think family meant sacrifice. It meant putting everyone else first. It meant staying quiet to keep the peace. But real family doesn't leave you a note on Christmas morning. Real family doesn't pay someone to keep you small. Real family shows up, even when it's hard. I found that in Danielle, in my daughters, in myself. And that's enough. Thank you so much for staying with me through this story. If it resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe. It helps more than you know. Have you ever had to walk away from people who were supposed to love you? What did that journey look like for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, check out the video in the description. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth it.